The faster you go, the slower time ticks.
Say that again?
The faster you move,
Yeah.
the slower
That's
time
what you
ticks
just said, yeah?
for you,
Yeah.
as seen by others.
Right.
As you approach the speed of light, time continues to slow down.
Yes.
At the speed of light, time stops. Which means for a photon moving at the speed of light, when it is absorbed in your retina, it is the same instant it was emitted at the Big Bang 14 billion years ago.
That's what I thought.
The photon gets emitted, bam, it's in your, as far as it's concerned, it is in your eye in that same
Can
instant.
we measure that photon and
Yes.
observe the Big Bang?
I know that that came from the Big Bang, and I'm watching it, and it's taken 13.8 billion years to reach you, but if you are that photon, it does not experience that time delay.
So physics is not my thing, so I'm going to try to simplify, probably oversimplify Einstein's theory of relativity. And one way we could do that is kind of to understand it as time is relative to the space-time conditions of a given individual, or the velocity and gravity is going to have an effect on how we actually experience time, how the observer experiences time. So that's what makes it relative. I could be moving at a different speed in different gravitational conditions, and time is going to tick slower or faster. So for Einstein, time is relative. That's what's important for us. We don't need to be physicists. We don't need to be mathematicians. For Einstein, time is relative. And so if something is relative, it's not absolute. But what does that actually mean in practice then for time? So Einstein's theory of relativity tells us that time dilates. Different observers experience different amounts of time depending upon velocity and gravity. Y'all ever see that movie Interstellar, where the guy, he travels and he doesn't really seem to get older. He gets home and his daughter is 90 something years old or something like that. That's time dilation. So time dilation is one thing, but also simultaneity is relative. Two events that appear simultaneous to one observer may not appear simultaneous to another. So think about GPS. If GPS is moving at a faster speed, time is ticking slower for the GPS. And what that means is that the mathematicians have to actually correct the data from the GPS to reflect where we actually are in time. So this means that time can't be an absolute measure governing all events. If time changes depending upon the observer, then time is not fundamental in the way that Aristotle believed. So here, Aristotle says, it is evident, therefore, that time is a number belonging to movement with respect to the before and after, and that it is continuous since what it belongs to is continuous. And okay, that's fine, but it doesn't follow that time is always everywhere present and always the same. For example, he says, it has been stated then that time exists and what it is, and in how many ways something is said to be now, and what at some time, recently, just long ago, and suddenly are. So there is a problem with time as a measure. A measure is not necessary for the existence of the thing measured. For example, a ruler ain't required for a table to be 4 feet long. A scale ain't required for an object to have weight, and a clock is not required for an event to occur. Events do not depend on temporal measurement. Events occur whether or not anyone measures them. Therefore, time cannot be identical with the reality of events. It is only a way of organizing or quantifying them. And so, if events can occur without being measured by time, then what actually unifies them? What ties reality together? What explains continuity? For example, when I talk about the self, my human identity requires continuity. I refer to who I was, who I am, who I will be. The moment I think about the present, it is already gone. And so there appears to be no temporal point that can hold identity together. Continuity cannot simply be a collection of temporal points. Points don't create continuity. Something else has to unify. And before y'all act like this ain't important, really think about it. You cannot talk about yourself as something that was without something unifying what you are to what you were and what you will be. There has to be a unifier, or else you are not one thing. Yet you refer to yourself as you. Yourself. Yesterday was, will be, am. You use all of these terms and you're not thinking that you're talking about a completely different thing. You're talking about yourself at a different time, in a different moment. And this also works for other things in the world, all things that are temporal. We can say it was, it will be, it is. We can say all of those things about all things, which is also how we know that the soul is immortal, but that's another conversation for another day. Anyways, individual moments resemble points, yet points cannot stack themselves into a line, no matter how many points we add together, and therefore continuity is never explained. And for Aristotle, he thinks that the now is a continuity maker. So basically, there's a line that has to go through each point and connect them together, and we call that now. But Plato's going to give a deeper explanation for this that I feel like is way more correct. In Plato's Parmenides dialogue, the line that draws all the nows together is called the instant. It functions as the principle that unifies the moments. The instant is not just another moment itself, though. The instant is the condition that allows moments to be related at all. In Plato's Parmenides, change occurs in the instant. A thing changes from becoming to being to ceasing to be, but the transition itself can't be observed within time. The transition occurs in the instant. The instant is neither being nor becoming. Instead, it is the condition that allows becoming. Now, Plato's Timaeus says that time is a moving image of eternity. So, temporal succession is not fundamental. Time is an image of a deeper unity. Now, tying this all back to relativity, relativity weakens confidence in time as an absolute structure. And this creates space for Plato's idea that time is derivative rather than fundamental. The photon does not experience time in a way that ordinary objects do. And so, the existence of entities that are not governed by ordinary temporal experience suggests that temporal succession may not be fundamental to reality. And this is not necessarily proof, this photon example, the fact that photons, the moment they're conceived, they contain that moment within them as well as the moment that they hit your eye. So they have like this sort of simultaneous existence, like containing all of human history within them, all of photon history even within them. That's not necessarily proof of what I'm saying, but it is a clue of what I'm saying. As observers move at different speeds, different sets of events come related differently. If events can be reordered by different observers, what is more fundamental, the order or the events themselves? It is my own view that the events are fundamental. Temporal ordering is secondary. And so, change does not occur in time. Change constitutes time. The instant is more fundamental than temporal succession. Time is the appearance produced by the continuous constitution of reality through the instant. Therefore, the continuity of self, history, and the universe is grounded not in a sequence of moments, but in the unity of the instant itself.